speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 who you with, Curtdog.
Welcome to Speak on it with Who You With, Curtdog. I'm L. Who You With, Curtdog. Want to welcome everyone to the show. What's that? Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, D Live is always in the house, and Twitter is in the house also. Please let's share, like, let a friend know we are live tonight. So you can join in with us. You can actually chat live with us in the chat room. No, I guess a couple hours ago, some stuff came up, and I want y'all opinion about it. Garrett Rolfe, the former Atlanta police officer charged in the fatal shooting of Rayshard Brooks, reinstated. How do y'all feel about that? That's what I want to know. How do y'all feel about it? Because they're saying that Atlanta did not follow the protocol of giving him a 10-day notice to let him know he was going to be terminated. Wouldn't have a job. I guess it's different when you're dealing with the police. But when you do a job, let you know 10 days in advance, you finna be terminated. I'm just kind of curious. I think it's sickening, to be honest with you. And but hey, they reinstated him. Now, it does not mean he's finna get back out on the street. The headlines came out. He was wrongfully terminated, the board said. Excuse me. I'm still having not at 100% from taking that shot on Friday. So I'm still trying to build my electrolyte up. No, normally I do not support particular drinks on have companies on the show, not unless they are supporting us, and I grabbed the wrong thing. I'm thinking I wasn't on camera, but yeah, you can live chat with us. Let us know how you feel about it. According to the civil review board in Atlanta police, they basically said he should be reinstated. Now, it does not mean he's going back on the street or anything else, but it just means that his job is going to be reinstated. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have to back pay him. And then on top of that, with being back paid, he will remain on administrative leave until the criminal charges against him are resolved. The mayor's office echoed the APD statement, saying the firing was reversed because It was not in line with the city code, and that no determination was made on whether Rolfe violated department policy. He shot an innocent man, an unarmed man. That's a violation of the department policy. So Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, in a statement, said, given the violent state of our city and nation last summer, the decision to terminate this officer after he fatally shot Mr. Brooks in the back was the right thing to do. Brooks' death 2 weeks after the death of George Floyd, while in Minneapolis police custody last May, sparked protests across Atlanta, and the city police chief stepped down less than a day after the shooting. Had immediate action not been taken, I firmly believe that the public safety crisis we experienced during that time would have been significantly worse, she added. And Brooks' family is disappointed, which they should be. Here it is. He shot a man in the back, running away, unarmed. And I know some people are going to say, well, he had a taser. He had a taser and he pointed the taser at him. Well, he already been patted down, according to the video. They had patted him down, so they know he didn't have any weapons. But he shot a man in the back, running away, because he didn't want to run. He didn't want to give chase, pursuit after him. And that's the issues that we're having with this situation. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately, with the society that we're living in, this is what we have to deal with. Now, we've had a lot of killings over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last decade of unarmed Black folks by the police, by white policemen. We've had a lot of them. But at the same time, we need to hold these folks accountable. Now, when I read this, I said, here it comes. As these charges been brought up on him, I believe it's 11 different charges that have been brought up against him. The charges are still there. But 9 times out of 10, they probably was preparing for court. So they had to do something to make people recognize this case again, where they can try to get this case thrown out. I'm not no attorney, but the writing is on the wall. For the simple fact, this guy murdered an unarmed Black man. Yes, he was running away, but that's not a death sentence. Yes, he tapped the taser, but that's not a death sentence. He turned around with the taser. He'd already been patted down, so they know he did not have a gun. But you shot him in the back. You shot him in the back while he was running. And then the other officer, after he was shot, came up and kicked him. Came up and kicked him. But nobody see nothing wrong with that. People say, well, you talk about race too much. If you feel uncomfortable talking about it, you might be part of the problem. You talk about black laws and white laws too much. Somebody need to. Maybe, just maybe, it will change somebody's life. Because maybe they don't realize what they're doing. You're talking about the importance of voting, but our vote don't count. That's the lies you've been told to keep you from voting. Your vote do count. The only time your vote don't count if you don't get out and vote. Now, I've talked with matter of fact, I just got off the phone with Marissa Ward, who ran for city council in Longview, Texas. Just got off the phone with her. She told me, you know, Curtdog, I'm disappointed. Not because I did not win my seat. I'm disappointed because people didn't get out and vote. I believe, and I could be wrong about these numbers. The young lady that won, she had 200 something votes. Marissa had like 75 or something like that. 200 something votes. And I think she told me 138 was mail-in ballots. So you telling me only maybe 150 people out of over 500 registered voters in the city of Longview came out to vote? That's doing early voting. That's doing the day of the election. That's all that came out. I told y'all how I felt about Grand Prairie. It's like 1.2 million registered voters in the city of Grand Prairie, and only 9.2% came out and voted. Where's the disconnect? Why you don't come out and vote for your local election? Your local election influence our laws in the national election. That's where that comes from. Um, no, I haven't heard that on radio. Welcome to the show, first of all. Thank you for always coming on the show, being a supporter of the show. He want to know, did you hear about the new Texas voting laws that are almost passed? One of them make it a state felony to send people unselected selection mail-in ballots. I'm like, wow. Which I guess if they haven't request for them, if they did not request for a mail-in ballot, it should be against the law, because that means, and I don't know who they would charge. Will it be the voting and the Secretary of State? I'm not sure who they would charge for that. But I know you have to request for a mail-in ballot. They just don't mail them out. They just don't mail them out, and it should be against the law. It should be. Um, Hold on, I'm trying to pull that up. I can see a little bit more about it. Um, okay, a lot of major corporations are against it. Okay, they coming out against the Texas voting laws altogether because um, our um, our governor is trying to do like these other cities and states to change the way that we vote. Now, excuse me, for me personally, they already made a difference in the way that we vote. Normally, early voting is 7 to 7. That's the way it is, 7 to 7. Now they cut it down, 8 to 5. On most days, it's 8 to 5. Well, by 8 o'clock, most people are already at work or getting ready to go to work and don't have time to stop and vote. Most people don't get off till after 5. So how would they get out and vote? So that's that voter suppression that they're doing. That's how they try to control what they do. I see y'all coming in on Twitch, Periscope, Twitter. Take the time, like it, share it, let a friend know that we're live. Even Facebook is uh, kicking it, and YouTube. So definitely like, share, click the notification for you can know whenever we are live. And definitely tune in. You can live chat with us during the chat. And no matter where you are, you can live chat with us. So, uh, and if you're on any of the platform except my personal Facebook page, we can put your message up also on the stream. The only thing we ask everyone else, welcome here, but please be respectful. Everybody have their own opinion and be respectful. If not, you won't be around long. Um, so on that, major corporation come out against proposed voting restriction in Texas. A dozen of big company, local business, and Chamber of Commerce issue a statement reflecting the biggest pushback yet by the business community against Texas Republican efforts to further tighten the state restricting voting rules. Sign up for the brief, our daily newsletter that keep readers up to speed on the most Texas news. With less than a month left in legislation session in Texas, Republicans split on which package or proposal might cross the finish line. HP, Microsoft, um, and 24 other companies are urging state lawmakers not to pass the new restriction on voting. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. And the biggest pushback so far by business against the GOP legislation, be it to ratchet up the state's already record voting rules, national company join in a statement voicing their oppression Tuesday with local businesses. Several local chambers of commerce representing LGBTQ, Hispanic, and Black members of the business community. We stand together as a nonpartisan coalition, calling on all elected leaders in Texas to support reform that make democracy more accessible and oppose any changes that would restrict eligible voters access to the ballot. The business wrote in their letter, "We urge business and civic leaders to join us as we call upon lawmakers to uphold our ever-exclusive core democracy principle uh, equally by supporting a stronger, trustworthy democracy. We will elevate our economics." So yeah, and the business owners need to put their mouth around it. Need to need to talk about it and vote against it. Let them know. Now, put it like this: if the business can have a voice to keep them from changing the laws. Now, a lot of the business, yeah, they paying taxes in the state of Texas, so they are influenced. Well, you as a resident of the state of Texas, you're paying your taxes also. I hope you are. But here's the key. The business, if they're not located in the state of Texas, they can't vote. They can voice their opinion about it, but you have that option of getting out and vote. If the business are going out on the line fighting for you, you also need to do your part and don't make them look like a fool and get out and vote, because the business is going to influence if they pass that law or not. But you can also influence if that law pass by getting out and vote. Get registered to vote and vote. That's how you make a difference. Yes, protesting is great. Boycotting is great. But if you don't get out and vote, the other two don't mean anything. They just gonna laugh and say, "Oh, there they go again, protesting. There they go again, boycotting." They won't do it that long because they won't find time to get out and vote. So you need to get out and vote. That's the most important thing you can do to make a difference, not only in the metroplex, but also worldwide. This is not just for the citizen of Texas. This is for the citizen everywhere. If you really want to make a change in what you got going on, if you're not happy with your politics, you get out and vote and hold them accountable, for we can stop having the old scary cops killing black and brown people. Hold them accountable. You say you want to hold these cops accountable, but here it is. You would not take time out of your so-called busy schedule to go out and let your voice be heard at the polls and make a difference that way. But you want to continue to um, protest and march and all of this, but you also need bigger actions. The biggest action you can show them is showing up at the polls. Why do you think Atlanta is in the position they in today? Because they wasn't happy with the people representing a city. So what Atlanta did, they stepped up and they voted. Largest amount of vote for a non-presidential election. They voted. They didn't care about the long lines. They didn't care what people said about your vote don't count. They got up anyway and allowed their voice to be heard. In some of those days, it was raining and cold. They didn't care. That's the way that y'all need to look at it. We have some major elections coming up here very soon, starting with the runoff elections that is going to take place on June 5th. The runoff elections. We need a vote. Here it is. City of Fort Worth can make history. First African American female mayor. If you are in the city of Fort Worth, y'all need to pack the poles. Rally behind the sister. You say you want changes? This your opportunity to make a change. Rally behind Deborah Peoples. Get behind her, let your voice be heard. If you're in the city of Grand Prairie, have the opportunity of making another history. You have the opportunity to have two brothers elected to the city council of Grand Prairie. And if I'm not mistaken, they never had a black city council. Now, they did have a black man on the school board, but not city council. City of Grand Prairie have that opportunity to change that, to make history. Kurt Johnson, a retired veteran. I think he said he had 2 or 3 degrees. I can't remember what he said. But here it is. People get so comfortable with what they have going on. And they feel everything is right. But when you open your eyes and see the people that they have sitting on the city council board, is all about themselves. They don't care about you. You need somebody who represent you, who's going to go to fight for you, not just because you black, but going to fight for everybody in that community. Those are the type of leaders you need. You don't need someone that's just going to be there only during election time. Junior Seno, 22 years old, trying to make a difference in his community. People say all the time, "Oh, you too young to do this." But when a high school kid go out and run for mayor or city council, and of course he don't look like me, he get a lot of praises. But here it is, a young brother, 22 years old, trying to make a difference. So if you want to make that difference, show up for early voting. Show up for the runoff election, June 5th. Show up. Show up and let your voice be heard. It's no way the voting numbers should be this low. With everything we've gone through in the last 4 years, there's no way they should be this low. But we can fast forward. Here in Texas, Greg Abbott up for re-election. With these numbers this low, guess what? He's going to end up staying in office if you don't get out and vote. And we know he's not for everybody. That's the reason why he changed his executive order to benefit one person. It wasn't to benefit us. It was to benefit one person. Then all the other leaders, even Sarah Palin, came out of the backwoods of Alaska to come down here and show her support for her. Dan Patrick paid her fines. Dan Patrick also said he will pay $1 million if anybody show voting fraud for the presidential election at his campaign fund. He's up for re-election too. That don't piss you off to hear that this man is willing to pay $1 million if he find anybody who committed fraud to allow to be able to vote President Biden in office. This man said he will pay $1 million if somebody can prove it was fraud. But at the same time, I know it was at least 2 cases. I believe it was Pennsylvania, Maryland, somewhere on that side. Um, but it was people voted twice for Trump. Not for Biden, for Trump. So that don't encourage you to get out and vote. You knowing this took place. You know what Greg Abbott did. You know what Dan Patrick did. Oh, maybe this will get it. Because even what's the other clown name? Ken Paxton. Almost 6 years now, brought up on fraud charges. He been trying to beat the system ever since. Let the statute of limitation run out before he brought up on these charges and held accountable. This man was re-elected even after these charges was filed. But the problem is people did not show up for these local elections and vote him out. Because if you vote him out, he's going to have to face those charges. But at the end of last year, the FBI started investigating him after his team came together and sent a letter to them where they all signed it, saying he was abusing his power in office when he signed that executive order in Texas to stop foreclosure and eviction and all of that. People thought he was doing a great thing. But let the truth be told, it wasn't for you. That was to benefit his homeboy. His homeboy that was behind on his mortgage on some property and equipments, and that was to slow it down, to give his biggest donor the opportunity to get his finances in order, for he won't lose it. But people thought that was for them. He don't care about you. That's why the FBI is investigating him now for abusing his power. He don't care about you. None of them do. But if you don't show up and vote, they're going to be back in office again. And there's nothing you can say about it. What are you going to do? Are you going to do your part? I can't do it. I could go vote, but I can't defeat them just by one vote. It take everybody, just like we say. It take a village to raise a child. Well, it also take a village to put good leaders in place. And we are the village. You don't like what they doing, get out and vote. That's the importance of voting. Yeah, I know some people probably tired of hearing me talking about getting out and vote. But when are we going to get out and do it? When are you going to get out and do it? Enough is enough. You say you won't change? Change your mind, though. Change the way you're thinking about this situation. You want to make a change? Change by getting out and vote for every election and watch the changes come. And if you're not registered to vote, get registered. If you are a felon and you have paid your dues and you're not on papers no more, go to vote.org. Find out if you could get your voting rights reinstated in your state. That's all you have to do. It don't cost you a dime to do it. Most states, you can be reinstated as a voter. You want changes? Start with that. Go out and vote. Then when different laws are passed, you can say, you know what? I was a part of that because I listened. I've got out and I voted. I decided to make a change. I decided to change my thought process that the local election is not important, but the local election is very important. Go out and vote. Try something new. Try something different. And just because it's a household name that may be running doesn't mean you need to vote for them. Because some of these people, they don't change with time. They stay in the same mindset where they won't change. So if you want something different, start with yourself and start by getting out and vote for your local election. And then on top of that, take a friend, tell somebody, challenge your friends to get out and go vote with you. That's how you make a change. Yes, protesting is good. Marching is good. Boycotting is good. But if you really want a fast change, get out and vote for every election. That's how you make a fast change, because people will pay attention to what you're saying. As long as you're doing all those other things, they don't care. They don't care. Attorney Lee Merritt announced I think it was last month, he planned on running against Ken Paxton for Attorney General. So far, he's the only one that have actually put his name in the hat for that position. You see him on the front line. Why not? You want to make a change? We need to rally behind that brother. I don't know him personally, but I see the work he do. Do you want someone that's going to fight for justice? Or do you want someone that's going to fight for benefiting the pockets of their homeboys, going around filing all these lawsuits to try to overturn our election? That's by saying your vote don't count, even though it was a legit election and Trump lost. But Ken Paxton filed several lawsuits trying to get it overturned. Why are we paying for this? Waste of tax dollars. I feel like if you want to file lawsuits like that in a case that you know you can't win, you should flip that bill, not the people of Texas and all those other states that join him. Those attorneys should flip that bill, not us. You want change? Try something new. Get out and vote. Every election, not just the federal presidential election. Get out and vote for every election. That's where change come in at. That's where your voice will be heard at. because then they know you're serious. Just like the companies coming out speaking about the voting laws here in Texas, that's because they have a stake in it. Their stake is the fact that they doing business here in Texas. If they change those laws that the companies do not agree with, even though all the companies have signed on it, some of these companies probably gonna move their business to other states. And Texas don't want to lose that income. Because if they move their business to other states, guess what? That's a lot of tax dollars leaving. So yeah, your vote do count. Your vote do count. Radio said, funny how the GOP drag their feet on any policies that help people, but they are super productive passing voting suppression laws. Woo! It's time to pass the collection plate around after that one, because you spoke the truth on that. When it's trying to save their party, I don't care about the parties. I care about what you're going to do for the people of the cities and state that you're going to represent. That's what I care about. I don't care about if you Democrat or Republican. It's about what are you going to do for the people. I've been telling y'all for the longest, when these folks come around asking for your vote, ask them, what are you going to do for the people of that community? You don't need somebody that's just going to represent people that look like you or people that look like me. You need somebody who's going to represent the entire community, not just certain people. That's the problem we have. Now, a lot of politicians get to the point, they don't go around and knock on doors no more. They get in this position and people just continue to vote for them over and over again. But they still haven't seen no change in their community. Still have street lights out. Still have potholes up in the roads. Then you turn around, you bust a tire because you done hit a massive pothole. They're going to tell you it's nothing we can do. You have people that sign bills that never read them. Don't know what's in them. You want change? Change your mind. Change your thought process. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Even Marissa Ward, who ran for city council in Longview, she told me when I first talked to her, she said, Curtis, I know it's going to be a long shot. I know it will be. For the simple fact, this person been in that position for a long time. That person was born and raised here. I've only been here for 5 years. But I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to give it everything I have. Even though she did not win that election, she still want to see change in that city. The only way that's going to happen, you have to hold these elected officials accountable. You have to. You have to get out and vote. Get out and vote. I think Deborah Peoples, I never met her. I think she will be a good change for the city of Fort Worth. I think Kirk Johnson, Junior Ezino, they both will be a good change for the city of Grand Prairie. Even Dallas going to run off. Need to get behind whoever is best for you and your family. But the most important is getting out and voting. That's the most important part of it. Getting out and voting. That's how you make your change. It don't cost you nothing. It'll cost you a little bit of time to get out and vote. But how will you feel once you know you got out and voted and you made a difference? How will you feel? Me personally, I feel good every time I vote. Every time I vote. I don't care what I'm voting on. I'm going to get out and vote. That's why I became a registered voter, to allow my voice to be heard. And for the ones that keep saying my vote don't count, my vote don't count. It don't only count when you don't vote. I want to know. I want to know. Are y'all going to vote for the runoff in your cities? Are you going to go to the polls and let your voice be heard? Let us know. Call us. 972-591-3665. Did you vote last week in the election? Let us know. Voting is very important. I don't care what they say, it's very important. Radio said, Mitch McConnell said today his number one priority is 100% focus on stopping Biden administration. That's not democracy. See, that's a problem, because here it is. Why are you focusing on trying to damage that administration instead of trying to work with them? That's the problem we have. People so caught up in parties and they lose the focus of doing things for the American people. That's the issue that we have. That's where we have a problem. If you are an elected official, your mindset should be going in and doing what's best for the people of your community. You was put in that position to represent the people of that community. And the people of the community need to start holding these elected officials accountable. And if they don't do what they said they was going to do, get them out. Vote them out. That's what we need to do. You up here bickering about stopping the Biden administration to support a small group of folks that have their heads stuck up their butt, instead of being focused on everyone, the big picture. That's kind of like when the pandemic hit. Yeah, first they give you $600. Then it took, what, almost a year before you got anything else? All because they could not agree on it. Now, my thing is, I'm not a politician. I don't know the laws. But if you really focus on American people, when you talk about stimulus package, let it be a stimulus package, not trying to allocate money for all these different things that have nothing to do with American people. Focus on the stimulus. Focus on trying to get people the help they need. Focus on that. But instead, y'all want to focus on who your party can stop, what your party can get passed and can't get passed. No. Focus on American people. And if you don't want to do that, step down. Because you lied. You said you will represent us. How are you representing us if it's all about your party instead of the people of America? So, what are you going to do? How are you going to make the change? I asked that question because I want to know. I can't do it by myself. I'm only one vote. I'm only one vote. In these runoff election, I believe the city of DeSoto is running a runoff election also. In these runoff election, we should have huge numbers showing up. They said, I'll tell you, I cannot read your comments while I'm talking. Uh, I just hope this dysfunctioning culture, this brand of politics doesn't come up to Canada. This can happen anywhere. Yes, it can. It can. Matter of fact, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I told you, you're gonna mess around and get a knock on the door. Be like, hey, we here. We're your neighbor right there. Yeah. So, yeah, we need to change the way that we think about voting. Voting is very important, regardless of what people tell you. Open your eyes and think. Listen real closely to the terms they use. If voting wasn't important, why do you think they're trying to change the voting laws? I would ask any politician, one of the ones that's trying to change the voting laws. If you're telling me my vote don't count, why are you trying to change the law to make it harder to vote? I was talking with one of my cousins today, um, and I was telling them, I said, one of the biggest problems that people have when it's dealing with people, they don't come out and ask them up front exactly what you want to know. They want to beat around the bush because they don't want to offend nobody. I get straight to the point. I ask the hard questions. If it make you feel uncomfortable, That's an issue that you have. But if it's an answer that I want to know, I'm going to ask. And I expect for you to answer truthfully. Because if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it truthfully. That's why I do ask Curtdog anything. What's going on, Marcella Smith, man? Man, I hope y'all okay from those storms the other night. What's up, my people? Job kicking my butt today, but I made it in. What's going on? We're talking about the low turnouts and votes. We started off with uh, Garrett Rolfe, the former Atlanta police officer charged in the fatal shooting of Rayshard Brooks, reinstated. Want to know your opinion? Want to know your opinion? Then we're also, like I said, I I I ask the hard question. I don't beat around the bush. I've been told um, I'm aggressive or I'm just just had too much confidence in myself and all those things. But if that make you feel uncomfortable because I'm getting straight to the point and not beating around the bush, that's an issue that you have. That's not my fault. I cannot change that. I've always been told to be honest. That's the only way I know how to be. So that's the reason why I do ask Curtdog anything. I ask those questions because I want to be open with you. That's me. I'm an open book. People say, well, would you ever run for politics? It have crossed my mind. It definitely have. We just had city council meetings, election going on. Who knows? When the next one come around, I may be saying, hey, vote for Curtdog. People ask me, are you concerned about them, worrying about uh, some of the shows you do? No, I'm not concerned. Because if you're speaking the truth, you shouldn't be concerned about it. Um, Everything that goes on in this country is a reflection of what this country think of us. Our bigger issue is we expect the government to treat us with respect, even though they don't respect us. That's what I've been saying all night. How you get that respect by showing up at the polls. Show up at the polls. How the companies are speaking out about Texas voting laws they trying to change. Texas is going to listen to them because they can remove that tax money. They would listen to you too if you get out and vote. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing wrong with marching and protesting. I support it, but we also need more actions. The marching and protesting that we're doing, make sure everyone is registered to vote. Not only registered to vote, let's have a march to the polls. Let's make sure people are marching to the polls every election. That's what we need to do. And when these folks start seeing the support that y'all have to change the laws to make a difference in your city, they don't have a choice but to support, but to make a change. because they're scared they're going to be voted out. Okay. Some people are going to say, well, you voted for Biden. Yes, I did. I voted for Biden. Well, you know the laws he made in the past. Yes, I do. He even said, I made mistakes, but I spent all these years of changing the mistakes I made. He also mentioned he's not happy with some of those mistakes he made, but he was going with the flow. But as time changed, he adjusted what he thought was right, and now he's making the difference to change to what is right. It's okay to make changes. It's okay to make changes. Um, Marcella said, if your vote don't matter, why change the voting law? You see, I don't know if you just came in, Marcellus, but I asked the same question. I would ask the politician, if my vote don't matter, why are y'all changing them? I'm sick of marches and protests. We got to think about what to do. No, Lord, hold on. Let me take that out. Because my camera is right in the center of it, and when it came up on the side, I couldn't see it. I'm sick of marches and protesting. We got to think about what they do love the most, the money, so we can cripple them by economics. You're right, economics, but also stop supporting them. Some people say, I don't support them. Yes, you do. You do. No, I don't. I never voted for them. You're right. You never voted for them, but you didn't take time out to vote for that election. So guess what? When they supporter get in there and vote for them, and you didn't go in and cast your vote, it's just like you voted for them. Stop supporting them. You really want change? Make the change at the polls. Make the change. Every time I say that, I think about Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror. At the end of the song, he closed out and said, you got to make that change. Throughout the song, you got to start with the man in the mirror. If you want to change, start with the man in the mirror. Get out and vote. Stop complaining. Stop feeling like it's inconvenience for you. Get out and vote. Make that change. For some reason, that song is playing in my head at the end when he say, "You gotta make that change." To be honest with you, Mike, I, I think Mike felt that when he sung that song. Because as you listen to that song, to me, that's one of those songs you can listen to over and over again. And that song remind me of one of the old school gospel songs. See, Tremaine Hawkins, I know I've been changed. We're not gonna go there tonight though. But you gotta make that change. You have to wanna change. I can't change you. Only thing I can do is tell you about it. But it's up to you to take it and do something with it. Did the Fat Wolverine Ted Cruz come close to losing his last election? Um, I believe it was kind of close. Let me see. Uh, see if it pulls up or not. Yes, he did. They said on election day, Cruz did, I bet the margin of 59 to 48.3%. The race was the closest U.S. Senate race in Texas since 1978. Now, just imagine if a couple of hundred more people in Texas got out and voted. Matter of fact, I want to see how many people voted in that election. Um, it was close. It was Ted Cruz had the popular vote, uh, 4,265,553,000. Beto had 4,045,632 votes. So turnout of registered voters was 53.01%. (53.01%). Now just imagine if another 2.5% would have showed out, Ted Cruz would not be in that position and he'll be back in Canada. Marcella said, true change comes from within. T-Cal, welcome to the show. I was like, wait a minute, do T-Cal close tonight? Hey, Curtdog. Hey, everyone finally hitting home. It's been a challenging day. At least once you can enjoy you and at least I can once enjoy you and on the way home. Okay, yeah. Marcella said, I believe we need to stop trying to force them to give us something they don't want us to have. We don't want anything extra. We want what is due to us. That's all. I agree with that, Marcellus, but how you force it, getting out and vote. Okay, people say, well, should black folks get reparation? Yeah, our ancestors went through a lot of hell, went through a lot. But you don't get out and vote, they don't take you serious enough. Everything leads to voting. Everything. Everything. Right now, these companies that's speaking out about the voting laws in Texas, they have more power than you. I'm saying they have more power than you for the simple fact they have options. They can move their business elsewhere. But you also have power. You have power for the simple fact you can get out and vote and remove those elected officials. If you set an example now, the ones coming behind him saying, look, these folks is pissed. Y'all better change your tone. Stop changing these voting laws because they removing folks. That's not for everybody. That's how you make a change. You make a change because of that. That's how you do it. T-Cal said, just heard that. And that should have happened. Yes, it should have. Uh, said, I'm typing and walking. Sorry for the misprint. Don't fall in no holes, man. No problem at all. Be safe. Marcella said, voting. Everything leads back to voting. Everything leads to voting. That's all it is. Marcella said, and if they do give us reparation, we can't just go buy Cadillac trucks and Tesla cars. We got to pull our money together and become stronger in economic. You said something. Because the first thing some of us want to do, not me, and definitely not me, but some of these people that get this money, first thing they want to do is go out and ball. They want to go to the finest restaurant. They want to go and find the biggest car that they're only going to have long enough until the money run out. They want to go find the biggest house, but don't have no more income coming in to support that house. Or on these cars can't afford the insurance for the house and cars. So the thing is, not only making change by going to the vote, change your thought process. Forget about saying, I'm not going to make time to go to the polls. That's a waste of my time. Change that mindset and say, you know what? It's my civic duty to go vote. And encourage your friends to go vote. What I did this past election, I sent out a text to all my friends. I told them, I said, look, we can make history. Even if you're not in these cities, you may know someone. Share the message with them. In Dallas, the city of Grand Prairie, DeSoto, Fort Worth, you know enough people. You have friends on social media in all of these cities across this country. If you share it, they will listen. You talk to them, they will listen. If you show them what you're about to do, they will follow you. So, yeah, go out. Let it be known. Let it be known. T-Cal said, say that. What Marcella said about the economics and don't buy Cadillac trucks and Tesla cars. Because guess what? They'll say they support us. I said this last year when all these companies came out after George Floyd murder, they sent out emails, sent out letters. We stand behind the Black community. But they was only doing that to protect their pockets. Now some of them, you don't even hear from them. They'll send you their ads. They'll send you coupons where you can come spend money with them. They'll do all of that. They would do it all. People say, well, when I go to certain drugstores, um, I get all, I may buy one thing, but I get a 3 foot long receipt, all these different coupons on it. That's because if they know if they offer you a coupon, it's a chance you coming back for something. You will come back for something. Uh-oh. Mm-mm. Marcellus, they're not ready for that one. They're not ready for it. Marcellus, we might need to talk because I got something I'll share with you offline, but yeah, because uh, we need to, we'll talk about that because I'm about uh, certain things. Um, but you definitely should invest. Should definitely invest. It makes a difference. Set up for your future. Do not invest and think a week later. Uh, a week later, you can take your money out and be done with it. Investment is just like gambling. You got to accept the good with the bad. You got to roll those dice. You don't know what it might happen, but if it hit, hey, look at Bitcoin. I'm just saying, Bitcoin not paying me, but when they came out, people were like, I don't know about that. I don't know, but now look at it. People becoming billionaires because of it. Yeah. TCal said, I always tell people it's not the initial purchase, it's the maintenance on it. If you can't keep it up, don't buy it. Ooh, you preaching on that one because some cars they get expensive trying to keep up that maintenance. Back in the days, I used to drive uh, a 350, F350, a dually. $200 every time you got an oil change. You got to go put tires instead of buying 4 tires. You got to put 6 on there. That maintenance ain't no joke. You got to do it. If you want to ride with the big boys, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. Um, what Marcella said, you can't have a welfare mind. Ooh, wait a minute. Let me say that a little bit slower. And I'm going to say it a little bit loud for the ones in the back that didn't hear it. You can't have a welfare mindset in order to be a millionaire. You got to think, walk, and talk like a millionaire. Damn. Marcellus, I just seen about 4 people drop off the line when you said that. Yeah, you definitely cannot have a welfare mindset in order to be a millionaire. You got to think, walk, and talk like a millionaire. Never heard of this. I'm not supporting it, but I never heard of it. But I will check them out. So I don't know much about it, but a lot of people have said some things. You need to invest. Invest. Uh, yeah, it's still trackable. Marcella said, TCAP, we need understanding that we got to buy things that appreciate in value, not depreciate in value. Cars would depreciate the second it leaves that lot, but art won't. Mm. Well, y'all into it. Y'all speaking some gems tonight. Uh, oh, T-Cal said we getting them tonight. Yeah, it's so true. Invest in something that's going to be around for a long time. I don't know if that's a truck or a helicopter. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but I hear it pretty good. Um, but definitely, uh, guess it's a helicopter passing by. It seems like they're pretty low. But yeah, T-Cal said say something. Y'all are on point tonight because here it is. People, oh, I once heard a great pastor, Pastor Marcus D. King, over at DC3. When he was at Friendship West, he said, people will spend money on what they want, but they will beg for what they need. Mm. People will spend money for what they want and beg for what they need. Once again, we need to change that mindset. We need to change it. Because as for me, I'm only gonna spend money on for what I need, not for what I want. Not for what I want. It's a lot of things I want, but will it benefit me? Will it change my life? If it don't, well, I'm spending money on it. Will it better my life? Marcella said, go listen to OJ's song. The story of OJ is a lot of info in that song. He said, don't die over the neighborhood that your mama renting. Ooh, take your money and buy the neighborhood. That's how you raise it. And that's how you rinse it. Yeah, man, that's some, yeah, yeah, y'all talking some stuff tonight because y'all don't understand. I'm I've had a busy day today, very busy day, and that's why I love doing this show. Only thing I ask God to do, lead and guide me in what you want me to talk about. Lead and guide me in what you want me to talk about. And some of the things that y'all saying today, I had no idea how this show was gonna go, none whatsoever. But I'm so open. I can admit that. I can say those things. But when it's said and done, I'm just here in front of the microphone. I just ask God to speak through me. hopefully something that I'm saying would change someone's life, will make a difference in someone's life. That's why I tell people all the time, I don't care what party you represent. Everybody is welcome here. As long as you are being honest and truthful, um, that's what's important to me. Speaking the truth. Uh, Marcella said, Jay-Z, the truth. He said, you know what's important than throwing money away in strip club? Credit. Credit. Um, Welcome to the show, Michael. See, you finally made it in. He said instead of going to the strip club, just download Tinder. I don't need neither one. I'm a happily married man, so I don't do neither one. So, um, 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 hold on. Uh, okay. Um, so yeah, I don't know about Tinder. I don't know nothing about it because when I was single, Tinder wasn't out there. I'm old school. I'm old school. I grew up listening to Teddy Pendergrass, so I'm old school. I was one of those types like to meet a woman, talk to her, and see which direction it's gonna go in. When I was single, let me express when I was single. Um, Now I don't put myself in situations. I run. I run. I don't put myself in certain situations. For the simple fact, I love my wife. Um, I don't do that. Marcella said Eddie Griffin dropped knowledge too. I love to open my mind and think for myself. Think, guys and girls, it ain't illegal yet. No, it's not illegal yet. And Marcellus, I see some of the things you put up on the some of the statements you put on Facebook. I'll be like, yeah, I need to love this one because he said something there. And I'm like, hey, uh, so Marcellus, he have a lot of good knowledge um, on on a lot of stuff. So if I'm on social media, if you following me, I try to follow you back. If for some reason I don't follow back, send me a message. Hey, Curtdog, you said you were gonna follow me. I always try to follow people back and see what they have going on. Um, but also, y'all know tonight is Wednesday. I get excited when I think about Thursday. Y'all know what time it is tomorrow. I don't even have to tell Marcellus. I don't even have to say it. Now, Marcellus caused me to lose a bet last week. And I was like, really? Any other time? And I was disappointed. But then I realized, I said, look, it's the NFL draft. It's the NFL draft. That might be the reason why he didn't come home tonight. But I made a bet before we got on. I said, hey, how long you think it'll take for Marcellus to show up tonight on Thursday night? Okay, I don't know who this is that text me talking about. I'm just saying if this number work. I'm not gonna respond back because I don't know who it is. Um, if somebody's listening that did that, uh, that is on the show, yes, this number do work, but I'm not gonna respond back because I don't know who you are. Okay, all right, cool. I got you. Yes, it do work. Like I said, you can always call in. Uh, you can always call in and text just like Mike did. Um, I have no problem with that. Since I know who it is now, yes, I will respond back. But yes, the number do work. Um, so definitely, I'm that type of person. I'm open. Um, so last week, Miss Risky and we was like, I asked her before we went live. I said, "How long do you think before Marcellus come on?" She said, "Oh, I'll give him 15 minutes." I said, "Nah." I said, soon as I come on, he's gonna come in." I was disappointed. Then I told her later on, I said, "You know what? It's the NFL draft. You may not be listening tonight." And you said that's exactly where I was, the draft. Uh, he said, "I would definitely have you back tomorrow." Yeah, because I was like, hey, Miss Risky, tomorrow night, Thursday night, Miss Risky will be in the house. Um, I've been out of pocket today. She have sent me some stuff that we're gonna work on for tomorrow. But you know she gonna bring some deep history. Kind of like what she did last week. I forgot the person name, but don't hold it. Put it like this. The brother also helped start the first black um, nursing school. And I'll be asking her, where do you get this stuff from? Miss Risky is a history major. She loved history. She loved researching and finding out things. So if there's ever a history that you would like for us to cover, definitely send it in. And Miss Risky would definitely do the homework. I would say both of us, but I can't take credit for what Miss Risky do. Kind of like last month when we did the terms that we use that is really racist, that we've been taught all our lives that we still use. Some of us still use today. She spent about a month to talk about that. She did her research about a month to be able to bring that to us. And she working on some more stuff. I just can't say just yet, but she working on some more stuff. So definitely, if if you have a subject you want us to talk about, definitely reach out to us. Yes, this is my number, 972-591-3665. Um, I always welcome the text. If it's something you want us to speak on, you can text or call. Serious stuff. No stalkers or anything like that. None of that. But definitely, I'm all for it. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, my home girl, my BFF, my sidekick, my little sister, Miss Risky, will be in the house with me tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Now, Marcellus, I'm gonna see if I can win that bet next week. Um, I'm I'm gonna tell him and say, "Hey, Marcellus said he coming. He definitely will have your back tomorrow." I'm gonna I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say, "Hey, soon as the theme song is over, Marcellus will be here." Don't let me down. Please don't let me down. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, Miss Risky will be in the house. I love each and every one of you. Until tomorrow, if the good Lord say the same, peace.